Welcome to a return to oneness. My name is Eddie, and I help people open their hearts. Today's discussion comes from the book 40 Days Walking in Peace, Your Path to Heaven's Gate. Day 2, Suffering. The quote is, "All suffering is resistance." What does suffering mean to you? During those times in which you felt like you were suffering, was it from a physical ailment, or was it from some type of emotional pain? Yet what does the word suffer really mean anyway? Let's take a brief look at the word suffer. The word suffer is defined as to endure death, pain, or distress, to sustain loss or damage. Look closely at that definition. Think about it. For the definition represents the very thought system of the ego. Yes, the ego's thought system is at the root of all suffering, whether it be physical or emotional. However, in today's passage, we are told that resistance is at the root of all suffering. Understand that resistance is just part of the egoic thought system. But what is resistance in this case? For how can resistance create suffering? What does to resist actually imply? The word resist is simply defined as to oppose. Therefore, when you are in opposition to something, today's quote indicates that you will create suffering. Thus, opposition is the cause, suffering is its effect. Yet, what is it that you could possibly oppose? Quite simply, truth. But how do you oppose truth? You do so by not accepting responsibility for your creations. Yes, that is the central theme of the egoic thought system. For the ego always witnesses to you that you are a victim. It speaks of weakness, littleness, guilt, and shame. The ego tells you of your worthlessness. However, these are all contradictory to truth. For in truth, you are a holy child of God, pure, innocent, radiant, and powerful. And to oppose this is to create suffering, for you have denied your true self. O child of God, do not accept suffering as a natural part of life. Oh no. Accept, instead, in this holy moment, the truth of your reality, the truth of your creation. Accept that you are not separate from God or any brother or sister. Separation is the opposition to unity. Thus, separation opposes God. Do not cling to the belief that you are a separate entity living a life separate from truth. Rather, embrace your oneness with all of creation. Embrace your true self. Suffer not at the hands of the ego, for it will have you believing that conflict and death are natural. Yet, can death and conflict be natural to a holy child of God? Of course they can't. You suffer when you believe pain, conflict, grief, loss, lack, and death are a natural part of life. Those are not the attributes of life. Rather, they are but the attributes of one who but dreams nightmares. Shed, then, these old beliefs. Lay them aside. You have hurt yourself long enough. Today, gather your treasures. Accept your unity with the Father, the One, the source of all life. Accept the atonement for yourself. Let the ego and its twisted beliefs decay back into the dust from which it arose. This is your escape from suffering and delusions. Do not oppose yourself, for you will but suffer the fate of all who do. And it will be but by your own thoughts that created your suffering. The ego asks for loyalty, however yourself asks for nothing but love. The ego offers hell. Your Father offers heaven. Choose heaven. Hell is no place for the holy child of God. Thus, choose peace and love. These do not lead to suffering, for they but lead you home. The ego will tell you that you are unworthy, that you are unworthy of heaven, that you are unworthy of love, unworthy of being truly happy. The ego would have you suffer, but none of this need be. Recognize that suffering is optional. It is but a choice, and you no longer have to choose to suffer. For once you realize that resistance, opposition, is the cause of all suffering, then you can release your suffering by ceasing to resist. But how do we resist? How do we oppose our true self? How do we oppose love? The answer is really a simple one. For all opposition, all resistance is rooted in judgments, in the judgments we make of others, the world, and even ourselves. For when we judge, we see something that we do not like, and our judgment is the very opposition that I have been speaking of. But come to realize that when you see something in the external world, in another person, that you don't like and you judge against that person, recognize right now that what you're seeing and judging in them lives within you. For everything your eyes behold is but a reflection of what lives in you. So if you see something in another person that you judge against, something that you don't like, recognize that it is something that you don't like within you. And you are in opposition and in resistance. The ego believes that you can project what you don't like about yourself onto another in order to rid yourself of that thing that you don't like. But projection does nothing. It does not accomplish anything. For a judgment is a thought, and thoughts leave not their source. And all judgments are a form of resistance, a form of opposition to the truth that there is only love. If you truly desire to release all suffering, then you must stop resisting, stop being in opposition. In other words, you must relinquish judgments. If you choose peace and to live in peace, to have a mind in peace, then you must be willing to let go of everything that you resist or that you oppose or that you judge. For you are only hurting yourself. Let this day then be the one that you never, ever suffer again. You do not have to suffer, for it is as simple as choosing the truth of yourself that will set you free. Suffering is a sure sign that you are listening to the little self, to the ego. But all the ego has ever done is to lie to you. It has had you believing that you were a victim to others, to the world, to experiences. Maybe it was to your boss, to a friend, to a partner, to a lover. But in truth, you are the creator of all you see and experience. And when you recognize that you are the creator of your reality, you will no longer suffer. For you will recognize that if you just don't like something, you create anew. You change it. You do not judge it, you simply change it. You embrace all things, love all things, and most importantly, love yourself. For how can you love another if you do not truly love yourself? Come then this day and love yourself. Let this be the day that you love yourself the way God first loved you when He brought you forth in His mind. If you would like more information, you can visit our website at onenessthecourse.com. If you would like to email us, you may do so at returntoonenessacourse gmail.com. And you can always visit us on Facebook and YouTube at Return to Oneness, a course. Thank you for listening. And peace, love, and joy to you and to all who listen.